Welcome to the Performance Zone with Coach Clay Banks. This episode is sponsored by LA's annual 1-Minute Monologue Contest, a performance-based microfilm festival for actors, celebrating its 12th year. Join us today to get the inside scoop from last year's winner.
Hey everybody, Coach Banks here. Happy to have you with us. We got a special episode of the Performance Zone for you today because not only are we in monologue season in recognition of LA's 12th annual 1-Minute Monologue Contest, but we're also going to be with the winner of last year's 1-Minute Monologue Contest, Danielle Argyros. Danielle!
Hey!
There you are, honey. How you doing?
I'm great. Thanks for having me.
Oh, it's awesome to have you. Last year you cleaned it out.
I did.
You did.
Which was kind of crazy, but honestly, it's been a long road at CBSI. I've been there for 7 years, which was a very long time, a really great developmental time for me to kind of get my feet like in the comedy world, and it took me a really long time, but I was very thankful to have you as a coach that guided me through all the different steps in order to do so.
Something that I talk about a lot with the students is just going through the grind, and so many actors will just kind of give it a little bit of a shot and then they back off or they don't think they can do it. Where I can remember just being with you, just those, Coach, I can't do comedy. Coach, I can't do comedy, right?
Yeah.
We just hung in there, and you did, and you hung in there, and it was like 4 years or something.
It was a long time. And realizing that comedy is a very difficult genre to tackle as an actor, it was really actually very appealing to me. I was like, I need to get this down.
So then let's talk about what happened with that. So how many monologue contests have you been through? Or through 7, but how many of you did you participate in?
I believe I participated in 4.
4 of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And 3 of those I actually wrote and kind of designed my monologue throughout the monologue month that CBSI has.
Yeah, so just so you know, when I mentioned earlier that she swept it, you not only won the overall contest, hands down, you also won the best character category, and you won the writing contest because you wrote the piece.
Yes. Honestly, it was kind of a crazy moment. I didn't realize that that was going to be the case, but it really just goes to show you what hard work and what consistency and perseverance allows you to come up with, because that monologue was written a year before, and we never shot anything. We just kind of developed it as this character.
Kept punching it out.
Punched it up a little bit. It was about a 2-minute thing, then we compressed it to 1, and we had all different kinds of jokes in there, and we were kind of cleaning things up, but it really goes to show you that even with, a stand-up or anybody, you're brushing up your comedy, and you're keeping it tight, and you're keeping it clean, and it's just one of those things where after a year of creating, it kind of just birthed itself.
Yeah, it's really cool. We're going to show you Danielle's monologue here in just a few minutes. What's really cool, when you look at it and you see it, it works. But the reason it works, and having been in the trenches with you through the whole thing, is the slightest little thing. All the little pushes, all the little nuances and the mannerisms are all worked out and painstakingly. Right. So you get the base track of just your ability to act, to perform, then to understand the scene. All these kind of subterranean levels that are necessary to be able to support a performance like that. This is what is important to get across to actors, that they can't be in there hanging the drapes until the framework's been done.
And that's what you've always taught us. Honestly, having a foundation and knowing your lines in the story is just the beginning. We try and hang the drapes and we think about, what color hair, how our hair should be, or what shirt we should wear, when really, and what I've always been focusing on, and still now to this day, is all about the foundation of the actual story and what it means, what your lines really mean, your thoughts behind those lines, where you came from before before you're having this moment, where you're going to after. Honestly, all of those things are things that need to be discussed before you even dive into all the bells and whistles.
You've got the story, which most actors will think about, most people will think about stories, the script. Okay, that's the story. But then you have the story of the character as the individual, and then the character in the situation, in this case with Brad. Right.
Totally.
And these guys have no idea
and everyone,
who Brad is.
I know, but everyone has a Brad, so you can't tell me.
so let's do this so you guys aren't kept in the dark. Let's go ahead and cut away and take a look. It's only a minute, and we'll be back.
Today's the day, Tabitha. You're gonna brush your teeth, get dressed, walk up to Brad's cubicle, deliver his morning coffee, and say, "Hey, Brad." "Hey, Brad, I brought you your coffee with a wide selection of sweeteners, stevia, equal, or raw." No, Tabitha, don't give him options. Make a choice. You are the choice. Oh, we gotta fix that. "Hey, Brad, I brought you your favorite coffee from your favorite coffee shop, and I was hoping maybe we could go out tonight, and after our candlelit dinner, you could cradle my body as we lie naked on my bed." No, Tabitha, don't freak the shit out of Brad. He'll never want to go out with you. Be cool, be sexy, and do not look at his package while speaking to him, even if it does have the perfect amount of bulge. No, Tabitha, you're gonna do this. You're gonna make hot, sweaty bedroom moments with Brad. Maybe I'll ask him next week. Yeah, next week.
By the way, if you don't know much about the 1 Minute Monologue contest, you can go to the number 1 minutemonologue.com, and you can find out about what the contest is, also at claybankstudio.com. And we work on the character.
Mm-hmm.
Once we find that character, we start working on a situation. What would be an interesting situation to be? Where would this character be caught that would really show the nuances in the characterizations?
Right.
And in your case, it's like going after this guy Brad and ISOing it in a mirror in your bathroom, which I just thought was fantastic. And so then you go through finding that right monologue piece, and then now we're going to produce it, and how are we going to produce it,
right,
and what do you want it to look like in the end? So take us all through that.
It's one of those things where in class, everybody has a monologue, they throw it up there, we decide environment, what's the most interesting moment in that character's life, in that monologue, after writing it, after discovering it, after pulling it from a piece and like revamping it, where is the vulnerability? And I think honestly we decided like in the masterclass that the vulnerability is like where people lean in more, and they're interested in people's turmoil, in like the
You mean the audience leans in more?
Yeah, I think the audience leans in, and
It's like,
we're leaning in. But don't you want to lean in? I mean, that's the whole point of being an actor. It's like you want people to lean into your stuff. Yeah, is that Tabitha as a person is her most real freaky self in the bathroom at home. What's interesting is, as Danielle developing Tabitha and creating that monologue, it's allowed me to move forward with, I have like a Tabitha TV series on Instagram and like a YouTube page where I'm developing, at this point, it's baby steps, but this idea of following Tabitha throughout her life and seeing kind of where she ends up and maybe shooting some really cool episodes. But what you were saying, backtracking to actually producing the monologue, it was wonderful to have a team. Everybody in the class, they have like a little niche of like knowing how to produce, knowing how to shoot, the lighting, the cameras. And that's what's so cool about being with creatives, because in general, as we all know, we have to learn how to do a lot of different things in order to actually just be an actor. And the fact that this contest is happening, and it keeps happening every year, it's extremely important. I just used Tabitha's monologue going into an agent meeting, and it was wonderful. You know, and it was one of those things where I just plugged and played, and it was something that was in me. And because we are trying to develop all these characters and monologues every year, it's extremely helpful. And you're not running around being like, oh no, I don't, next week I have this meeting, but you know, I was actually just worried about what I was going to wear instead of like worrying about getting this monologue right. When you do the work, it shows.
No, that's one of the key things. It was really well articulated, so awesome. Is the monologue contest was developed 12 years ago, really out of a pissed off moment for me with my actors. I was working in the studio in, I think it was 2006, and it was just one of those weeks where it almost seemed like everybody was duffing out.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, what do you guys do? Come on. Okay, listen, right now, every one of you, 30-second monologue next week in the studio. Who can't do 30 seconds? And it started as a 30-second monologue contest.
Right, I remember you saying that.
And I did it as a tool. Okay, let's get you 30 seconds, and get you to be the best you can be in at least 30 seconds, and then we'll go from there.
Right.
And it kind of birthed from that, and then it went to a minute, and it's been through so many different evolutions. But the point of it is that it's going to sharpen the actor,
Yeah.
and also equip you with a monologue that will be solid performance level that you wouldn't have had otherwise.
It's so true. And original, because you do encourage people to develop stuff
we customized.
Yeah, like it's to you, it's to your essence, it's to who you are. And honestly, like you can't take that away.
The work that you did, and this is an intimate moment with an intimate character, revealing something in the intimate environment of her own bathroom,
Mm-hmm.
but then there's a film crew in a red shoved in your face. You can't get to that performance unless you've been trained to be able to have the muscles of intimacy available, that you can bring that out so that we can see it without seeing you be self-conscious of it. It's because it's that intimacy that draws that attention.
Totally.
And you did that so well.
I appreciate that. Honestly, it was definitely the 7 years that I was at CBSI that brought me to that moment where, look, we all fear a lot in acting. I can attest to that. I'm sure everybody in the room can attest to that that's here right now. Fear is a big thing. Walking into the room, being enough, being able to be intimate and express your feelings, but also be precise, and like precision is something that you focus on, and like being able to turn the corners and make people feel something that you're feeling. Because a lot of times you could be like, oh, I felt that, but then no one else feels it, right? So that's a difficult thing. But when you're feeling it and everyone else is feeling it, you're connected on the same page, and it's honestly the most beautiful thing ever. You black out. I mean, it's one of those things where you know that no matter what, in a great way, like that you just like, it's just an experience, and it's magic. And honestly, that's what we crave as actors and as artists.
Now, you talked about taking the monologue into a professional environment. By you developing those intimate muscles in a safe environment,
right?
You could go out there and on the call get to that level of intimacy.
Absolutely.
And that level of intimacy is like, whoa, attractive. It's so attractive.
And it was there. And that's the thing, like doing the work and being able to let it sit for a minute, and maybe I didn't work on it for a couple of months, but then when I got the call that I got an agent meeting, it was in there. And if you do the work, it will be in there. And you just need to trust it. And that's where like the fear talk kind of came in, because it's like you can fear all those things, but if you trust, then that fear will dissipate. It really, truly will. And I still deal with it every day. Different auditions, different things.
That's the love of the craft. And perfect love casts out all fear.
Totally.
I got to brag on you a little bit, Danielle.
Okay.
The movie that you produced, starred in, helped write, carry along, The Day of Reckoning. The Day of Reckoning.
Yeah.
Tell me about The Day of Reckoning.
Honestly, it was a 2-year process. It took us a long time to get it off its feet. It was actually birthed at CBSI.
Yeah.
And I will tell you why and how, really quickly, very quickly. Jeff Wolf was a student in your class, and he actually showed his first short film, Penance. And I was like, this guy's super talented. He really knows how to shoot. He's, okay. I really want him to direct one of my things. So we started talking about, conflicts, certain things that were happening in the world, and wanting to create a women empowerment short film that could potentially be, a trailer into a feature film. We had this idea, we started co-writing it together, we got the script registered, and we shot it. We raised a lot of money. It was definitely a very, very grueling process, but we shot it, we got it done, we got a lot of favors, and they were wonderful favors. Thank you to everyone who helped out on that. Honestly, it was incredible. And it took us about 2 years to finalize, and it was in the festival circuit starting last year, the end of 2017. And now it's kind of racked up a few accolades, which is really cool. So we won Best Action Adventure Film at Comic-Con, which was one of the biggest ones. We've been nominated for Best Actress, Best Director at a Vegas Film Festival, Action on Film, and honestly,
you've been to Catalina.
We just went to Catalina. I mean, it was so cool. And film festivals in general, it really does ignite you. It helps you realize.
Let's do this. Let's take a look at the trailer.
Let's do it.
All right, cool.
I'm a survivor. I refuse to be ignored or let the innocent be forgotten. There are many more like him out there. And if you're one of them, and you're watching, you should know. I'm coming for you.
Danielle Argyros, everybody. Look her up, check her out, follow her, see her work. She's awesome. She's amazing. Danielle, love you, honey. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Coach Banks, The Performance Zone. Thanks for tuning in. Catch you on the next big one.